Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, here it should be. Can go to share screen. This one. Okay, this is IELTS reading passage 1, book 15. Okay, you just spent about 20 minutes on questions 1 to 13, which are based on reading passage 1 below. So we shall see what is in it. The option for allotting. Okay, nutmeg, a valuable spice. Like the nutmeg tree, Myristica fragrance, is a large evergreen tree native to Southeast Asia. Until the late 18th century, it only grew in one place in the world, a small group of islands in the Banda Sea, part of the Moluccas or Spice Islands in northeastern Indonesia. The tree is thickly branched with dense foliage of tough dark green oval leaves and produces small yellow bell-shaped flowers and pale yellow pear-shaped fruits. The fruit is encased in a fleshy husk. When the fruit is ripe, this husk splits into two halves along a ridge running the length of the fruit. Inside is a purple-brown shiny seed, 2 to 3 centimeters long by about 2 centimeters across, surrounded by a lacy red or crimson covering called an aril. And these are the sources of the two pieces, nutmeg and mace, and the former being produced from the dried seed and the latter from the aril. Nutmeg was a highly prized and close and costly ingredient in European cuisine in the Middle Ages and was used as a flavoring, medical, and uh, preservative agent. And throughout this period, the Arabs were the exclusive importers of the spice to Europe. They sold nutmeg for high prices to merchants based in Venice, but they never revealed the exact location of the source of this extremely valuable commodity. The Arab Venetian commerce of the trade finally ended in 1512 when the Portuguese reached the Banda Islands and began exploiting its precious resources, always in danger of competition from neighboring Spain. The Portuguese began subcontracting their spice distribution to Dutch traders. Profits began to flow into the Netherlands, and the Dutch commercial fleet swiftly grew into one of the largest in the world. The Dutch quietly gained control of most of the shipping and trading of spices in northern Europe. Then in 1580, Portugal fell under Spanish rule, and by the end of the 16th century, the Dutch found themselves locked out of the market. As prices for pepper, nutmeg, and other spices soared across Europe, they decided to fight back. In 1602, Dutch merchants founded the BOC, a trading corporation better known as the Dutch East India Company. By 1617, the BOC was the richest commercial um, operation in the world. The company had 50,000 employees worldwide with a private army of 30,000 men and a fleet of 200 ships. At the same time, thousands of people across Europe were dying of the plague, a highly contagious and deadly disease. Doctors were desperate for a way to stop the spread of this disease, and they decided nutmeg held the cure. Everybody wanted nutmeg, and many were willing to spare no expense to have it. Nutmeg, bought for a few pennies in Indonesia, could be sold for 68,000 times its original cost of the streets of London. The only problem was the short supply, and that is where the Dutch and their opportunity. The Dutch found their opportunity. The Banda Islands were ruled by local sultans who insisted on maintaining a neutral trading policy towards foreign powers. This allowed them to avoid the presence of Portuguese or Spanish troops on their soil, but it also left them unprotected from the other invaders. In 1621, the Dutch arrived and took over. Once securely in control of the Bandas, the Dutch went to work protecting their new investment. They concentrated all nutmeg production into a few easily guarded trees, uprooting and destroying and trees outside the plantation zones. Anyone caught growing a nutmeg seedling or carrying seeds without the proper authority was severely punished. In addition, all exported nutmeg was covered with lime to make sure there was no chance of fertile seed which could be grown elsewhere would leave the islands. And there was only one obstacle to Dutch domination, one of Banda Islands. Silver of land called Run, only 3 kilometers by less than 1 kilometer wide, was under the control of the British. After decades of fighting for control of this tiny island, the Dutch and the British arrived at a compromise settlement, the Treaty of Breda, in 1667. Intent on securing the hold over every nutmeg producing island, the Dutch offered the trade. If the British would give them the island of Run, they would in turn give Britain a distant and much less valuable island in North America. The British agreed, and that other island was Manhattan, which is how New Amsterdam became New York. The Dutch now had a monopoly over the nutmeg trade, which would last for another century. Then in 1770, a Frenchman named Pierre Poivre successfully smuggled nutmeg plants to safety in Mauritius, an island off the coast of Africa. Some of these were later exported to the Caribbean, where they thrived, especially on the island of Grenada. Next, in 1778, a volcanic eruption in the Banda region caused a tsunami and that wiped out half the nutmeg groves. Finally, in 1809, the British returned to Indonesia and seized the Banda Islands by force. They returned the islands to the Dutch in 1817, but not before transplanting hundreds of nutmeg seedlings to plantations in several locations across southern Asia. The, the Dutch nutmeg monopoly was over. Today, nutmeg is grown in Indonesia, the Caribbean, in India, Malaysia, Papua New Guinea, and Sri Lanka. And world nutmeg production is estimated to average between 10,000 and 12,000 tons per year. So this is question 1 to 4. Complete the notes below and choose one word. This is very important. To choose one word only from the passage for each answer. Write your answers in boxes 1 to 4 on your answer sheet. The nutmeg tree and fruit. The leaves of the tree are oval in shape. The husk surrounds the fruit and breaks open when the fruit is ripe. The seed is used to produce the spiced nutmeg. The covering known as the aril is used to produce maize. The tree has yellow flowers and fruit. Then we come to question 5 to 7. Do the following statements agree with the information given in reading passage 1? So true, false, or not given these type of questions. So when you see this, you should uh, directly go save your time. In the Middle Ages, most Europeans knew where nutmeg was grown. This is false. They did not know. The VOC was the world's first major trading company, not given. Following the Treaty of Breda, the Dutch had control of all the islands where nutmeg grew. Yes. Choose one word. Now we have question 8 to 13. Usually, this one passage has 2 to 3 sections. Okay. Um, you see, they have different type of questions. Here we see 2 types of questions. We've done fill in the blanks and true, false, or not given. Um, Now we come to questions 8 to 13. Complete the table below. Choose one word only. Remember that this is very important. Okay. The Middle Ages, nutmeg was brought to Europe by the Arabs. 16th century, European nations took control of the nutmeg trade. 17th century, the demand for nutmeg grew as it was believed to be effective against the disease known as the plague. The Dutch took control of the Branda Islands, restricted nutmeg production to a few areas, put lime on nutmeg to avoid it being cultivated outside the island, finally obtained the island of Run from the British. Late 18th century, 1770, nutmeg plants were secretly taken to Mauritius. 1778, half of the Banda Islands nutmeg plantations were destroyed by a tsunami. So here the new passage starts. I think today's lecture about how to do this reading and what to do after reading, how to tackle the different tasks. So this also has 40 tasks divided into almost from 12 to 15 each. Okay, 3 tasks, 3 passages. So dear, I am tired now. Do subscribe if you have not yet. And if you like, please click the thumb up sign and the bell button. Thank you for watching and paying attention. Goodbye.